Good morning. Just finishing getting everything set up, and then we'll talk about what's going on. Not that there's really too much to talk about. Let's see. Put this over here so I can see chat. And here. Good. Okay. Today is the quick bonus stream. I don't actually know how long I'll be on, or I was thinking that if I can get the latest challenge painting done, that I could perhaps try yesterday's painting again and see if I can make that top work a little bit better. I adore how it looks at the bottom. Maybe you have different ideas of the top, but I really did like what it looked like before it became the muddy pile of messy. So I'm going to concentrate on the latest one, and then if I get it done fairly quickly, then maybe we'll go on and try that one again. I don't know. My chair's stuck, sorry. Okay, so this is painting the wilderness challenge that I'm doing, and I'm learning a lot, and I'm really enjoying it. So that part is really good. Today is a watercolor Wildflower lake, and there's a couple of processes, a couple of steps. I've watched the video for the most part, so I'm a little bit better off than I was yesterday. I just have YouTube on with the tutorial, and I can see on the right hand side in the like suggested videos that there's a watercolor galaxy night sky. So that really piqued my interest, and I might want to do that one instead of the turtle again, because I just caught that one. Luminous galaxy night sky. That could be good. I love doing night skies. Okay, but until then, let me turn this volume down and let me go back to the beginning of the video. I'm just going to follow the tutorial. This one I noticed that she actually uses, so it's going to be a sky, a little mountain range, and then water, and then in front is going to be wildflowers. And I did notice that she uses the salt technique in this, and then she admits that she covers it all up with the flowers. The salt technique is just when you sprinkle some salt on like mostly damp watercolor and you let it dry naturally. You can't speed through and use a heat gun on that. You have to give it time to actually do all of the things that it needs to, and it takes a long time. So I've decided I'm going to skip that part. First, because she said that she just actually covers it up, and then second, because, well, I don't want to just sit here for half an hour until it dries and does its thing and not do anything else. But I thought instead of salt, I could use some white gouache instead, and that would give the same kind of lightness that the salt will, not in the same exact way, but since it's going to have flowers on top of it, like it shouldn't matter that much. So that's what I'm going to do instead. I'm going to just, I'm going to use gouache instead. And then maybe in the future, like I know that salt is a really good technique, and I do have something somewhere with that salt on it, but I couldn't tell you where it is right now. So I'm going to skip that. And so I'm just going to get started with the sky. I'm going to use, I don't know if you care, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I'm going to use a 16 just to wet everything down. I'm going to paint with 12, an 8, and then a 2. So the same brushes as yesterday. The colors are all going to be around the same as well. She's using Prussian blue, phthalo turquoise. The flowers are going to be in Quin Rose, of course Payne's Gray, and Hooker's Green. So I know that she has a couple of different values of the flowers. Some are pink and purple, so she probably just does some mixing, and I will do that as well. So at first, let me just get this played or to play, and I need to turn it down a little bit because I don't know how much you can hear, and I don't want to get in trouble. So many rules about what you can play and what you can't. So let's just jump right in. I'm just going to wet the top like always and create a nice soft sky. I think she also works on the mountains at that point too, but this is, what is this? This is like a bluey. This will be a good sky. So what she does now is she used negative painting. Let me just finish the sky first. Give that a chance to move a bit, and then she uses negative painting and kind of creates this mountain range at the bottom. So I'm just going to do the same, and then it looks like we dry. And this is like a mountain range way far in the distance, and there's a lot of water still on my paper, so I'm going to go through with a thirsty brush and try and take off a little bit. Just move this stuff around. She does have some, like, the idea of clouds in the background without actually making clouds, so I will do that as well. But this is a little bit lighter than I would like, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Just add some deeper Prussian blue in here, there, everywhere. Let that bleed together. And then I can see still, well, I can't really see over here where that mountain range is. So I think I'll just shore that up a little bit. I think that's good. Just taking some of the paint away, so there's different values of blue for clouds, and that looks good. So I'm going to stop there and dry it so it doesn't do anything weird. And I'll apologize because I still have a pretty crappy voice and some sniffles and all of that fun stuff from my son. So, yay. All right. So now what she does is she goes in with the lighter value of the same Prussian blue and kind of creates the base of the mountains here. And she doesn't make like exact shapes. She's just kind of following and I don't know, just giving a darker base for the mountain. So I'll just kind of follow along with where I think the top is and add in some hills here and there, some variation. And yeah, like that. And then what does she do? Then she takes that same lighter value Prussian blue and she starts making like the shadows for some of these mountains. So where there would be like normal kind of, that's too much, but she's just going around making various lines. So I'm going to pause it there and just go around and make the same. And my value is a little bit darker than hers, so I know she's really she goes back multiple times, so I'm not going to fret too much. And these are just going to represent some of like the crags and shadow pieces of mountains. So nothing too specific or, yep, just like that. And now she goes in with what color does she use though? Hold on. She goes darker, of course. And she changes the brush. So it looks like she goes with like a much darker value. And this is like a Payne's Gray blue mix or an indigo. Oh, look, it's not a dog hair this time. It's one of my hairs. So it's going to take 4 years to get it off. Nope, that's a dog hair. All right. Pause that there. Try and get this dog hair out. There we go. So she goes in darker now, and I think this is dark enough. And really I'm just mixing, oh, there's another hair. Just mixing the dried in so that there's not like clumps of dried paint in, and removing hair continuously. If it's not me, it's the dog. So I'm just reactivating this and getting any of the flakes of dried paint kind of incorporated. So, and now she just very randomly goes in and creates like the proper shadows and little pieces of where some of the like the dips and high points, you know, kind of frames it a bit and adds some contrast. So I don't actually have a plan. I'm just putting paint down where I think there would be. You wouldn't want like everything highlighted, but I mean, you wouldn't want everything in shadow. It's really hard. I'm still adjusting to speaking about what I'm doing and doing it. So this would be a darker dip, even though the light is on the other side, is opposite of the other ones. I don't think it really matters. So this can come down here and kind of make a mountain there and then follow along. I'm not trying to like frame exactly what's there, but just add some so your eye has a better idea what's there. So like you can see that this is a shadowy piece, and then just add various sections to add even more shadow. But like I'll keep like this part kind of clear, so there's still a lot of white in there. And then she takes even more, and I'm not gonna mix the Payne's Gray and the blue to get the color. I'm just gonna use the indigo that I have from Daniel Smith, which could possibly be what's in that well. I don't know. It doesn't matter. And then she just adds more shadow towards the bottom, and she seems to kind of cover up this whole piece that she's done with the blue. And I'm not actually sure if that's what I want to do the whole way. I'm adding a little bit more paint so it's darker. I think I can leave some of the blue kind of showing and maybe just do like a blend between them. What I'm concentrating now is just getting it where the tape meets it so that there's not a gap of white. And then I can come back. Maybe I should just do the whole thing. Maybe there doesn't need to be a blend. And this is just a mountain range in front. Yeah. There you go. And I'm just adding a little bit more towards the base because the base of these mountains would be darker anyway. So like that. That looks like a mountain range far in the distance, right? Okay. What's next? I do like the sky. Okay, so now she takes off this piece of tape, which I have to say, taking off tape from a painting is really almost my favorite part about it. It's like in the US when you're a kid, or at least when I was a kid in the US, my parents would like have us roll all of our loose change. And it was such a cathartic thing for me to do. I loved doing it. And peeling off tape reminds me of that. It's very cathartic. All right, and now she's going to wet the bottom. And I'm not going to go as close to that. I'm going to give it a little bit to dry. I don't want it blending. At least I don't think I want it blending yet. We'll see. Maybe I should play that while I'm doing this. Nope. Okay, she leaves that alone. So we're switching over to a turquoise, which is really like one of my favorite colors. Okay, and she mixes in just varying amounts of turquoise and Prussian blue in the water. I'm just going to bring it down so it's lighter and lighter. And then she stops around here-ish. So I'll just put a nice fine layer, rinse off, a little bit of water, so it goes even finer. And then I'll throw in some blue as well for color variation. And for it to seem like water. Let the two play together. But it does stay pretty light as you go down. So I want all of the deeper colors kind of up here. And I'm not actually just following the video on this one. I'm just putting down color, letting them play together, trying to keep some white spots. I don't have to worry about the back so much because that will be the darker of the two, but then I'll come in and just add in a little bit of white that might have been lost. There's a lot of water in here, so I'm taking off as I go. I think that's pretty good. I'll give that time to just play. And I will re-wet this just a bit down here because she also adds a background, and she uses Hooker's Green and what did I say? Quin Rose? Quin Red. Quin Rose, I think. So Hooker's Green is here. I'm just going to add it and kind of mix it into the green that's already on this palette. It's a nice bright green, but we're going to add some water, so it doesn't really matter to mix them. And then in varying places, she just adds green. Kind of coming up here. play the video. Okay. She doesn't actually say what she's using for the different colors in, but I think it was Quinn Rose, which is a really nice pink color. And I can throw you over here. And then I'm going to get some more, and I'm going to make a purple up here. And I'll go back and forth and just kind of fill in and add some water. Add some paint and kind of fill in this whole area with both of those colors. So that's a blue, and I can mix this Quinn in with the orangey peach. And just maybe a little bit of water. And just kind of fill in here and there. So this should get a chance to bleed all together and take up this whole background. And I will help it a little bit. I think it could use a little bit more green, so where there's some white spaces, I'm just going to tap in. And since this is going to have flowers on top of it, it doesn't really matter. So, but now this is where she comes in with the salt, and this is where I'm going to come in with the white gouache and just add a little bit to my palette. There's also some up here, and I'm going to use a small brush because this is wet. It's not dried. I'm not trying to like reactivate it. I'm going to take a blank piece of paper. I am going to cover the top. And I'm going to just tap in some white. And hopefully that'll all blend together. Of course, I can help it along. And just with a damp brush. Actually, I don't even think I need to help it along. Maybe up here on the water I will, because it's kind of dry. Just smush it down and move it around. But so it's kind of like a faux salt effect. What happens when you put salt on here, if you don't know, is it kind of makes a hole in the watercolor and just pushes it away, very much like that. Another dog here. There we go. So it pushes the watercolor away. It makes a really cool effect. Maybe I could find that painting quickly in my pile of paintings so far. It doesn't seem like it, but let me check. Not in that pile. How about this pile? Nope. These are just various planes. How about this pile? Oh, no, you know where it might be? It might actually be in my little book here from class that I learned it about. Ah, here we go. I did find it. Look at that. So if you don't know, this was a class that I took by Sandy Allnock, and she plays with this method, and you just regular table salt and just sprinkle it onto wet paper that has color on it. And this was me playing, like, this was dried with a heat gun, doesn't work at all. This had a medium kind of water level. This was a lot of water. This was very even water. The page wasn't soaked. It was just kind of wet, very soft glisten. This I re-wet after I had put the salt down, so there's nothing. And I re-wet this after it was half dry. So the salt didn't actually get a chance to move the paint and create the white spaces that it did here, there. Just a learning opportunity. So that's kind of what this would look like. But then since we're going to cover it with flowers, I think that the white gouache, just having some kind of white spatter in the background, will do the same. So let me see. Oh, she has white spatter on her desk, and I thought that I had got it on my monitor from doing this, but nope. All right. So she waits for that to dry, and it takes a long time, so I'm just going to dry this in the meantime so I can go on when she starts again. Okay. Let me play this video and see where we're going next. Okay. She is now going back in and working on the water, and she's adding different values of the phthalo turquoise. Okay. I'm not gonna follow yeah, I'm gonna kind of do my own thing here. I'm gonna hopefully have the same effect, but yeah, I apparently can't handle her messy how she does it messy. It's not like a good fit for me. So, but I have painted water in the past, so I'm just gonna do kind of my own thing to show movement and add texture. And what I am going to do is I'm going to take some of this turquoise and pick up some blue and kind of come here in the back. I'm going to close up this white space in the back. And then it doesn't have to be perfect or exact, but would like less of it. So, and then this will just kind of look like deeper water, darker water. And then I can merge it in to some of the pieces that I'm already doing. Kind of like that. So I'll just go back and forth between this blue, and I'm going to use the darker values in the back here. And as we come down, we'll just stay with the gradient and go lighter. Just adding movement. And now I'll start adding more water and getting lighter and lighter in both colors and just coming further down. I guess this is, I mean, she always talks about doing just messy, kind of nonsensical lines, and probably my version is just the same thing, just my version of it, I would guess. So I don't really feel, after yesterday's fiasco with, it's not really a fiasco, but after yesterday's trying times for me with the top of the ocean, I think I'm going to stay more in line with what I know and what I'm comfortable with water. Because I think that looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Could use a little bit more turquoise, some darker values to counteract some of these darker blue. Just very light. Okay, just keep going down, adding more water and doing the same thing, just adding some movement, and I'll probably stop like around there and fade them out a little, and I think a little bit more water. It's sometimes hard to gauge because watercolor dries lighter than it appears, so but I mean, as long as it looks like it's kind of going lighter in value, then I think we're gonna accomplish all the same things. And I think I'll soon stop. Yeah. I think I'll add just a really, really light blue over some of this turquoise just to kind of share share the water with the two colors. And I think maybe I want to add just a little bit darker, because nothing's ever gone wrong when I've said that. Ever. I just want this to be really look so much further away and give those mountains kind of like make it make sense. So I'm just gonna go in the back here and just add a bit more. And the same with the Prussian blue. But I need more. I can't believe I waited so long to get this color. Really just stay more in the back with the dark. I don't want to take away all the white though, so I'm trying to be a little careful, I guess. I want some of the white through and definitely some of the lighter through. Like that. I think that's a decent gradient. Maybe. But since I'm not following, I can really just do my own thing with what I think looks good. And stop what I want. My brush doesn't, it's so small that it doesn't have like a lot of paint. Even when I go right in, I get really just one good sweep of paint, and then it gives that a very, that dry brush effect where it's very like scraggly in its marks, which is kind of perfect. And I think I'm gonna stop there. There is that like really big highlight here, but I like that. So let me see where she goes after she does the water. So she's still going on adding more color towards the back. And she's still going. And still going. Okay. Now we're going into the flowers. Just gonna mix some more of the purple. Apparently we'll need a lot more of it. I think just a tad more blue. Yes. Okay, and then she uses just Queen Rose as itself. So put some of that on my palette in a bigger quantity. Look, a dog hair on my brush. How odd. I'm just going to add a little bit of water. It's very thick, very pigmented. Okay, so now she just goes and paints a bunch of flowers just in like what is that flower called? It's well, I mean, I guess you'll see the same kind of style here. So she's just really random, and she has a bigger gap though. I think maybe I came down too low with some of this water movement, but I'm going to deal with that later. So it's just one of these long flowers, you know, that's like that kind of thing. And she just adds them everywhere, and she's really not very careful, and she's not being precise. So I'm just gonna randomly make flowers, different sizes and different locations. I'm not gonna care too much, and I'll also vary the. Okay, that one just became a hot mess quickly though. So maybe I'll care a little bit. I'll add like a little bit of water and have different values of this purple as well. Maybe a little bit more than that though. Yeah. Just make bunches of little flowers. So I'm just gonna zen here. I don't even, do you remember what these are called? Do you know what they're called? There's a couple of different flower types that kind of grow up. Lupine, I think, is one of them. Not sure. So I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna go above that one. I'm gonna leave this more clear of flowers. It can have like the background, that's fine. But yeah. No, I think I'll switch to pink just so I can kind of keep track of some balance. And I'm not matching up like exactly where there's pink in the background to pink flowers here. Doesn't, I will there because I was just going to put one there, but it doesn't really work that way in nature. So the background is just to kind of give the idea of a lot more. Than the ones that you can see up close. These are more up close. I'll give a little bit more care for these ones that are right in front or appear to be more right in front. I think I hold the brush wrong as well, and I'm not sure that I can fix it. I think you're supposed to really come like much further back and paint with it much further back, but I think because of all my years of coloring with markers and pencils, and when you want detail, you move very close, and these are like small and they're not very detailed, but they're more so than like doing like just a big wash of color. And I don't know if it matters. I guess it could, but I think maybe as long as I get my point across in the painting, right? I don't know. Sometimes I'm better than others, obviously. I don't know if you watch, if you look at reels or on TikTok or little meme movies like that. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. And that's is kind of the story of art for me. Sometimes good, sometimes shit. So yeah, lots of flowers. She has a lot, and it looks like she's gone in with green too. Could it be? Maybe. Just make some more flowers here. And then let's see. She's really kind of overlapping too, so that they're not as like clearly defined, so that they're just more on top of each other. Yep. I still want to keep kind of this like line clear, since I think according to what I'm seeing on hers, it looks more like the water reaching in and hitting. So I'm pretty sure I can adjust that a little bit. I don't know. I always say don't go backwards, but I always tend to, I guess. And I need to stop putting my hand in my paint. So I think I'm kind of running out of space for really like clear cuts. I mean, there's some obviously, but I think I'm going to start trying to overlap a little bit and varying the size also. I'm probably putting too much care into it, but I don't care. I'm happy and I like what I see. I'm just trying to vary. Size, shape, color, location, and right here. I don't want to be too symmetrical either with them. I want them to look like wildflowers. And I think I can overlap more. I really should watch ahead though to see what she does with the green. Okay. All right. So I think once it gets more busy, she just goes in with the green. But then she also adds some more in the background here. And they're lighter and very smaller. So very much smaller. Sorry. And varying heights. So it's really just like a bunch of dots there. And I think that I will wet this area and kind of soften it a bit more and maybe not take away the lines but lighten them, and then I can come up with these lighter versions. I don't know, maybe I'll come maybe just right behind here and fill it in, but I'll try to put a bit more flowers in. It actually looks like she might have gone in with some turquoise as well. And I might want to consider that just to even show it as like a darker green. Oh, that was so close. So maybe just sporadically. And not really so much in the same kind of shape. So it could be leaves, it could be flowers. so that it fits, but it's different, if that makes any sense whatsoever. And for this one, I'm actually being quite messy, and I'm okay with that. And I'm gonna just make like wider, bigger. I don't know. We'll see what comes out of it. I think that's enough dough with that. And I think I'm going to come through and just kind of overlap a few more and then start adding green. So if I actually want it to be overlapping, it has to be darker. So where there's pink and I want overlap, I'm going to, like here, just come in with some purple. And I'm not going to be too careful because there will be a bunch of green also involved in all of this. So here. And here. Doesn't look like there's any holes of flowers, so it does look pretty, looks pretty even. So grab some more Hooker's Green, and I don't know why it's named this. I have no idea. I just know it's a beautiful green color. And I am not going to do anything specific. I'm just going to kind of come in and fill in areas with leaf-like shapes. And I'm not going to fill completely. I'm just going to add here and there. Because you still, you know, you have that background to show that there's more in the background, you know, and you don't want to blow it all away. So just where there are gaps where you could see foliage. Make them varying leaf shapes. And I don't think I'm going to go much further. With this, just a little. But I don't also want it to look so, it looks a little too clean. Like purposefully clean. And I don't want that, so just gonna sporadically cover and add so that the colors meld a bit more. Hopefully that does what I want it to. I think I'll stop there. Okay, now I need to deal with this background. No, stop. Oh, no. No, pause. Oh, damn it. Which my 7-year-old has started walking around the house saying. Can't imagine where he got that from. Alright. I hit the keyboard with my elbow and it reset the video. So I need to find where I was. And then, okay. So I'm going to do the thing that you should never do, or I should never do. I don't know if it's an art thing or not, but I'm going to come in with some clean water. I'm not going near the flowers. I'm going just right around here-ish. And I'm going to make this a little bit softer. I might come up in areas, just a stripe here and there, so it kind of blends better. But I'm going to spend some time here, and I'm going to soften these lines so it's not as sharp water moving. So it's more shoreline, which apparently that's what it's supposed to be. So just going to wet these down. The color is moving, and that's okay because I'm going to add more green and flowers and, you know, soft blue. I don't want to take everything away. I don't want to make a big muddy mess, which is kind of what it looks like. But I'm just going to soften it a bit so it's more in line with the shore. You still have movement in a shore, you just don't have sharp movement. And I know that I'm going to get a line here, but I'm going to try and use that to my advantage and make it like the water coming in. And I'm sure at some point we're going to pull out the gouache again, and I can just add some like white highlights there, so it looks like the water is coming in, plus there's going to be the flowers in the background. So I think that kind of did what I wanted it to do. I don't really see any more color coming off, so I think that's good. I'm going to take this number 12, which is completely dry. I'm going to just suck up as much water as I can. And if any color comes off, which none is, I'm going to consider it a success. Okay. So now I need to deal with the flowers in the background. So it's going to be, I think I'm going to take a lighter value of the purple, and how much lighter is this? Yeah, good. And I'm just going to make random dots just to kind of show some, and I don't mind actually if it bleeds in with this. It'll actually just help me a bit, I think. Just to show that there are some light flowers way back, and you can't see them clearly, but you can see the idea of them. Sorry, I don't even know if you hear that, but trying not to cough directly into the microphone. And then come back in with some pink and do the same, just varied. This can also bleed in the background. Just sporadic. And coming down to meet these flowers here. Like so. because then she comes in with green as well, and she makes it like really, really messy. And I'm not really sure that I can do that, but I will come in with this green, and I'm not going to, I don't know if I can do what she does, but I'm just going to add, I think I want lighter green. And just add in more of it and let it overlap on some of the colors, the flowers. And just maybe not that messy and that big, but maybe it'll blend more when I add more. So just to show that there is some greenery in the back. More sporadic, varied, kind of all over the place. Just mixed in with all of these other kind of background colors. I think I need to soften this. I think I'm going to be really unhappy. So maybe I will soften all of the back, actually. Just so it's a bit lighter and you don't see anything distinct. I like that so much better. So much better. This one versus this one. This one looks way more realistic in that there is some greenery back there, but you can't really distinctly see all of it. And that actually hid the kind of shelf of color. I think I might just soften in here a bit too. Just in a few places. So you don't see the strokes, you just kind of blends. Which is kind of what she did with it being messy, so maybe this is just my way of that. And I think that is good. And I'm going to stop there. And I do like how that turned lighter, so it's like more closer to, it's not waves in the background, it's, you know, at the shore, lapping up along the wildflower gardens. Okay, let's see what she does next. Okay. She comes in after with a little bit of a pretty dark value hunter's green, hooker's green, hooker. I don't know. Like that with her tiny brush, and she creates some grass throughout. So, and just small clumps, just in various places, sizes. And just add some grass. Obviously, if there's grass in the back here, it's going to be much smaller because it's further away. And then be nice and big, and it will take over in the front. Some will have more blades than others. Some will be darker. Put some in the middle in like a medium kind of length, somewhere between the front and the back. Just to add some more texture and movement and whatnot in the front. That's looking a little too even to me, but I think I'll just kind of adjust some of these clumps in the front and add more leaves to some of them so they're bigger clumps. What do we think? Can't say I'm totally thrilled, but don't actually know how to make that. I'm just gonna use a lighter value and add some in this background here. Some smaller. Because you would see some of like the longer piece sticking out. But you'd also see like some clumps. Okay. And that's that. Maybe I did too many flowers. I don't know. Kind of looks like a fresh wildflower thing in the beginning, right? What time did I start? Okay, an hour and 20 minutes. Let's see what else is next. I think she just kind of adds some details at the top. Okay. Okay. She thinks that this is too plain and very horizontal from here to here to here. I can't say that I disagree. So she's added some birds in into the picture. Different sizes, different shapes. Just a nice little small cluster of birds, not with a lot of definition. So we'll do the same. If they're closer, you'd see more. And further away, they'd be smaller. Trying to just make them varying sizes and kind of have them fill out the sky in like a random pattern. And all of these will be just really small. And I think I can put another one here. So lots of little birdies, right? This is like one flock, the beginning of a flock, and this is another one. Kind of triangular shape as well. You don't know how you're seeing them, but I think that's good. I think it looks like birds in the distance. Oh, and that's it. That's it. That's it. We're done. She actually didn't come in with any gouache. So I have a little bit here. And I'm just going to add small details, very small dots along some of these lighter areas. So it looks like waves. And as they come closer, they'll be more defined and bigger. And this isn't part of the video at all. It's just some detail I'm adding. I don't want to go too white crazy also. But I do want to add a little bit of interest and some sparkle. And I'm just going over twice so that it really kind of shows up well. And that one went too big, so yeah, like that. What do you think? Stop. That's what I need to do. I need to stop. Just put a little bit here. This one is not going to be as noticeable anyway, but because it's on such a light background. But and here, I want it to be where the light background is, but I also wanted to come up into some of the darker colors so it's seen. And I think that's good. I am going to end there with this. So now it's my favorite part. Taking off all the tape. And I did a good job taping. This is just like the back of one of my paper blocks, actually. So it fits the paper perfectly. This is an A4 size. So I'm not really sure that I'm like, I often don't like my own work. Like really often don't like my own work. But I'm not really sure I have a lot to complain about here. I do think that if I had done like she had done with the kind of messy waves, like it's two very different water looks, hers to mine. Hers is a lot more loose. Than mine looks. But I'm not really sure that it matters. I really don't think. I don't know if it does. I don't think it does. So I think if I had probably tried and done it the way that she does it, I might be. Oops. Sleep is grabbing all the brushes. I might be less happy, but I'm comfortable with water this way. I don't know. We'll have to figure out what we learned on this one. What did we learn? Maybe less flowers. Mine might be too specific. Maybe they were supposed to be a little bit looser. But I don't know. It still looks like a field of wildflowers to me. Isn't that all that matters? I should get my phone really close and just do tape removal ASMR. I think I have some filters on my mic that like take away all background noises, like when the heat gun is on and stuff. And I'd probably have to take those off. I'm not too displeased. Go through the same process and just use paper because I didn't get more stickies yet. I think one of the things that since I'm looking at it now, I can see that I might have want to variated the color of the pinks a bit more. And the purples too, for that matter. I feel like it's all the same color, and you would never see that in nature, even if it was the same flower in the same field. it would be a lot more variation of pinks and purples, and I actually do think that turquoise kind of adds to it, so I would do that again. But for learned, I'm gonna just what I'm gonna write more variation in flower values, I guess. The mountains, what do we think about those? I think they kind of appear to be mountains. I'm not really sure that the where the highlight versus the shadow is kind of matters where it's so far away. Uh, I think I'm comfortable with the water, and I liked the little sparkling water details. Kind of adds a little bit of movement to it. So I think the sky came out great. Looks like there's a lot of movement in that as well. And that these are clouds and they're just really far away, so there's no definition to them. And I did like softening the background of these really far away flowers. So maybe fewer flowers next time. Maybe I don't have to fill it in as much. I'm going to put a question mark there because maybe it won't fit. Who knows? But I loved the sky. I loved that it was just very simple and gives the feeling of movement, gives the feeling of clouds. So I'm going to keep that there. I, for once, loved the water here. So I like the ocean and the variation of it. So I guess it would be more just in the flower region. So like to kind of vary, maybe less flowers and vary them. I like the land in front of the mountains. Do you think that came out well? Yeah. So I'll just write mountain range area. I think it really gives a good perspective for the whole piece. Oops, sorry. With how close this is versus how far away that is. So yeah. Oh my. I did sleep last night. No, actually I was up in the middle of the night. Both my husband and I have started having this like little cough and congestion thing, which we got from our son being sick this weekend. And it did interrupt my sleep last night. So I was up for an hour. My throat was a little bit sore. So I grabbed a Halls and had that for a bit, but then I had to be awake until it was gone so I, didn't die, choke on the thing. So I was up for a bit in the middle of the night. But now we're at an hour and a half, and I don't know, it's a bonus stream, so it doesn't have to be too long. But I think I just want to peek at this watercolor galaxy night sky. Maybe we can do like a small version of it, and then I can go grab some lunch. Once I get through all of the ads. How long is this though? Oh, it's 12 minutes. I think we can do one of these, but I'm going to do a smaller version of it. So let me get to where she's. Okay. I have some pre-cut panels here, so I can just grab one of these and I will tape it, but with the smaller tape so the border won't be as big. And maybe I can use up the rest of this yellow, and I'm not gonna tape it down, or I probably should actually, never mind. So nope, not there. So we can just try really quick because a luminous galaxy sky is totally right up my alley, and it's just a tutorial on YouTube. So maybe I can learn a new trick for them, or a tip, whatever you want to call it. I have done some in the past, and I'm really happy with them. I don't think I have any in easy grabbing range to show. So maybe I will learn something new. Oh, and I didn't have Prussian blue before, and that's a really great color, and I didn't have the indigo before, and that's another one that would be great for this kind of painting. Oops. So let's just give it a try. Shouldn't take too long. I mean, there's not a lot of detail in it. I'm probably going to regret if I don't tape it down, because it will be pretty wet. But can I use this tape? Will I have enough is the question. I think the answer is no. That was the answer. Like a true bonus stream. It's a bonus for you and for me, because I wasn't planning on doing this. Thought maybe I would take another go at the turtle. But this seems like so much more fun. So let me see what she uses here. She probably has them listed in the description. Oh, okay. She uses Winsor & Newton Payne's Gray, Cobalt Teal Light, and Daniel Smith Rose Marine and French Ultramarine. The only one I have is French Ultramarine. Well, I do have the Payne's Gray, but I don't have Cobalt Teal Light. So I'll have to figure out what I do have that's close to it. And let me see what she's doing. Okay. All right. Let's give it a go, shall we? So, like every painting ever created in watercolor, I'm gonna wet the background. And then I'm gonna go just a little bit smaller. It's probably, it might not be a good thing, but I'm gonna try anyway. I need to bring in some French ultramarine. I'm gonna just put it here so I can get the value that I need. And she starts with that, and then she uses a nice purple, which I'm not sure if it's a mixed color or oh, that might be way darker, but I can fix that later. And just adding it around. I'm not even really following what she's doing. I'm just kind of adding in, and then she adds, it's more like a reddish purple. So I think if I reawakened this purple up here, and maybe added in just a little bit more of the Quin Rose, and then just in various places. Let's okay. Then she comes in and softens all of the edges with some water. And let me move this tape. And this is just going to be the background, so it doesn't matter too much if there's like white left. At least I don't think it matters too much. I wouldn't care too much. It's a night sky. So just softening the edges of this so it kind of blends better. And then she comes in with the cobalt teal, and I don't have that, so I'm just going to use a lighter value of the phthalo turquoise. Just drop it in periodically. And then I'll soften that out again, just so it's more ethereal. It's fine that that's a little bit darker, but I would like to move this around a little bit. Less defined in shape. All right, and then from there she dries. Okay. Let me... Okay. I paused it so I could see exactly what was next. And then it moved ahead of me. So she does a couple of layers of this, and she uses, it looks like the same colors. So I'm going to take clean water, wet it down, and be very careful to not move or reawaken the color underneath. Like, some of the color's going to reawaken anyway because it is water, but I don't want to muddy everything up. And that's a lot of water, so I'm just going to tilt the board and take away everything that falls down. And I'm just grabbing it at the edge here so that I don't have to scrape any of the painted areas to pick it up. I could also roll, but there was a lot of water and it's a pretty big area to just roll the paintbrush. So she goes back in with a little bit darker values, but not really too much darker. And she uses all the same colors, so add some water there and reawaken the other ones. I need some blue. And that was too much blue. So I'm going to take some more pink. And then she turquoise. Yep. Her turquoise is different. It's probably like a lighter, I don't know what color that is. Could look, but it's not going to change anything. This is the turquoise that I have. So I'm just going to add it in, kind of where it was before. And move it around a bit. And then come in with some purple. And I'm not going to stay exactly, but also I'm not going to dump some green on top of the purple. So I'll loosely stay in the same area that I had put in before. And just like kind of when I come back in with some clean water, I will make them overlap a bit. And I'm gonna make some more purple. So I'm just going to move around some of the colors so they play nice. Like I kind of lost some of the turquoise there, so I can add some more. And see if I can get them to play nice together. So they blend. And it has more that like ethereal feeling, you know? But I also don't want to mix them too much, so I'm going to keep going in with clean water so I don't lose any of the the distinct colors. I don't care. A little bit of muddiness is okay because it's kind of natural when you're blending in so many colors. But just so everyone plays nice in the swimming pool. And I think I'm going to put in just some darker blue. I mean, we're going to cover it up with something anyway, but I think I'd like some brighter spots of blue in and around a little bit. And then just some clean water to soften a little bit. I am going to roll right there because I just added a lot of water. And while I want it to bleed together, I don't want it to just become a muddy mess. So where there's the most water, I'm just going to pick it up a little bit. And I'm going to call that done, but I just need to know if she dries it. Yes, she dries it and wets it down. Okay, she does dry and then she re-wets again. Okay. Have I ever come back from drying and said anything other than okay? Probably not. But now she re-wets this again, and then she comes in with the Payne's Gray. I'm not going to use the Payne's Gray. I'm going to use the Indigo because I got this color for a reason. This was one of the reasons, and I want to see how it performs. And it's similar to Payne's Gray and Winsor Newton, but it's Daniel Smith, and maybe I'm a little bit of a snob. I don't know. So some of this color is reawakened. As you can see, it's dripping on the side. So I want this wet. I just don't want this like sopping wet. So just trying to clean up any puddles. Okay, and I'm going to just tilt it this way so this side does not dry. It's kind of drying up here, and I don't want it to. So I'm just going to tilt the board and move it around a little bit. Okay. So now she comes in with the Payne's Gray, and I'm going to use Indigo. And I think this will do just as well. She comes in with a fairly dark but like watery I think instead of dripping over, I'm going to just add some more of this. So she just kind of places it in and moves it around. So I am going to do the same, and I'm going to let it do its thing. I want to make sure that I have like equal amounts of kind of the colors popping through, so I don't want to color like cover up all of the purple or all of the blue, turquoise, you know. So there's some blue and everything showing through, but okay. So now she uses some clean water and just kind of moves it around a bit. It looks like to me like she kind of picks up some as she goes along. I could be wrong, but I'm just gonna roll it around a bit where there's edges to give different variations of this gray color, black color. So, and I went too far ahead also than what she did, and she left this whole bottom clear with no sky whatsoever. And while I like it, it's also not my style. So yeah, so I'm doing a tutorial and learning some things and adjusting. What those lines are. They couldn't have been from my brush, could they? Looks like it. It's okay, we'll color it because now she's coming in. Now I'm just going to pause it there. She comes in with all of the same colors and drops in like higher value to make them pop out. So where I see and blue, I'll add some blue, and then she's going through with, oh, sorry. Then she's going through with some clean water, blending. So I'm going to grab some, oh, I didn't really need that. I'll put it over here, and then I will reawaken down here and make this pretty purple color and drop that in some of these areas. And I'm trying to work fast, but I wasn't actually prepared for adding a lot more deep dark color, but I'm going to come through with water after, so I just want to do it quickly. So let's get this moving. Tug hair. And it's really starting to dry, so I'm just gonna come in with some clean water and I'll work on the blending after. And I don't want these edges to dry either. And I'm gonna come back in with some Payne's Gray or Indigo. Let me grab some more. And I'm going to come back in with this dark and kind of blend them back together. And I'm going to have the darker on the outside. I still have her tutorial on, but hers is really much more lighter than mine and less skyy. And I want more sky. I want light, but I also want night sky. So I'm just coming in with clean water and tapping it around, and so it blends a bit. And any like weird blends or like watermarks or anything that happen on this, this is probably the best time for those weird things to happen. Because space isn't just, you know, solid black. There are variations going all over the place. So I'm really just, she added a lot more deeper colors, but I'm gonna spread this out. It's not that I just don't want a distinct pocket. So like this is okay. This is could be blended, I think, a little bit more spread out. Wouldn't mind a little more blue over here. And I don't want sharp lines of like black or the gray. I don't mind some, but like this is just a circle of color, and I don't really want a circle of color. So I don't know if I can even consider taking from this tutorial, because this is what I would do normally. That's okay. I use the colors, right? And hers is much, much lighter, but I don't know. Night skies to me are dark. But I'm going to just add some more of this indigo and just in the corners. And I'm not going to move it around or push it in or make it too watery. I want darker areas. And I'm just going to let that sit there and see what happens. If I need to move it, I can. Just a little bit of clean water, not a lot, and just soften. I don't really want a spidery effect. So I'm actually pretty happy with that. And I'm going to dry it there. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is wet it one more time. And I've totally gone off the rails. Not even following that tutorial anymore. Now I'm just doing what I would normally do. So this is where there's a lot of color and there's a lot of good dark spots. And so I'm just going to bring them together. And this is where I'm going to come in with some more of the indigo, but I'm going to let that just softly and slowly spread. And I'm going to add a little bit of water. And I'm just going to come back in and just let it soften on its own. I will come back and help it, but after it's done a little bit of the spreading. So it seems like it's kind of drying up at the top here. Oh, well, I just dropped some water and that's actually not too bad a thing, but picked up another dog hair. I'm just going to take some clean water and kind of go, not over everything, but go over everything so that it blends really nice. And any of these watermarks that kind of happen are going to look more natural on a night sky. And I'm not really being too careful with what color is where. I don't want to lose some of these areas, so I'll scoop away. But I do want the blend to happen. So all of this is already dry. And then I'll just keep dropping in some of this indigo. And so far it's working the way I expected it to, which is really nice. But I really just want the darkest parts along the side here. Like, yeah. So it's not as vibrant or as colorful as it first started out to be, but I think this is just a tad more realistic. And I'm gonna leave it just like that. And I'll give it a dry. I'm here. I'm late, but I made it. I'm ending soon, so you can thank you so much, but I'm on 2 hours 17 minutes and I want some lunch. So I'm just going to finish this up. And then I'm going to get some lunch. So I'm going to reawaken this white. I really like, it's still really colorful. But there's some really good dark contrast. I started following a tutorial if you're just joining, and then I stopped and just did my own thing because I like my night skies. Okay, I need some clean water. No, you know what? I'm just going to put a little bit more of the wet gouache down and mix that with some clean water. I want varying degrees of white. I want some that are really light and some that are much brighter. And I also want, I know that those lines are there, but we're going to add something in the foreground, so I'm not too worried about it. I also want different size stars, and I want a lot of them. I don't want you to guess what this is. I want you to not even take a glance and know. So this is my smallest brush, and I've gone in with increasingly brighter white paint. But these are generally pretty small splatters, which is fine. Because now I'm going to come in with a bigger brush so I can get more variety of splatters. And I don't normally go so big with like the 8 here, but I'm just gonna, it's what I have in my hand. So I'm gonna go for it. And now we're gonna get some big spatters and some smaller spatters, some wider ones. Can you see all the stars? And then with this, I'm also going to drop in some bigger ones here, there, everywhere. All right, that one was kind of big, but good variety of different sizes and even more. Haha. Okay. And then I'm going to dry this because I don't want to smear when I put the and whatever I'm doing in the front. I haven't decided yet, but we'll see. I think I'm going to do a half and half I think I'm gonna reawaken this black here. I think I'm gonna do some, like a tree that's kind of close up. So this is closer in the foreground. Like that. Just one. And then I think I'm going to take a piece of watercolor paper, and you're going to think that I'm crazy, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I am going to use the edge of it and grab some paint and just make some city buildings way off in the distance. And just fill in this whole area and have it fade out. And I'm just trying to take the paint and really kind of fill in that area. Now I'm going to take very concentrated drops of yellow and red and some white. And just randomly drop them in there against the black, so there's some contrast. So we have some nature and some, oop, too much water. Well, it's fine. Some nature and some city. And then I'll grab some gouache. And add random windows in. If some of them bleed, that's a-okay. There's no rhyme or reason to this. Size doesn't matter. That's what she said. Sorry, I can't help it. And it kind of blends in, but also kind of sticks out. So that's that. That's my version of a gorgeous universe type sky. And now I get to rip off more tape. Maybe. I wasn't really planning to do much in the foreground, but then I was like, oh, I probably should. If I had planned to do a cityscape, I probably would have left it a little bit lighter, but I think it still works. It just kind of blends a little bit more, so it's not as in your face. But since I want you to kind of look at the sky, everything is really extra. So I could literally have this as a job, just other people's paintings, just dematting them, peeling paint off. This one could even become a print. Voila. Okay, so we did actually some stuff today for a bonus stream. What did I do with the... Yeah, so we made this little night sky bonus on a whim. And then this, what did she call it? Like meadow water or something? I'm not sure. Yeah. So not too bad. Pretty happy with those results of both. We did the lessons learned here, and we just did this one because we wanted to. And yeah, that is really about it. I don't know what is going on tomorrow. Oh, I'm streaming with my friend tomorrow. What day is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday, right? It's actually absolutely amazing to me that I'm in charge of someone else's life, even if he is 7. Okay, yes, I have a vet appointment tomorrow, streaming tomorrow. So maybe tomorrow afternoon after my Just Chatting stream with my friend, which I recommend joining, over at 2 Cents and a Drive. I might come back and do a quick stream just on the day 8 challenge. I don't actually mind streaming just the challenge, and then can come back on Friday like normal and probably do 1 or maybe two challenges. I don't know. But if you want to see my friend and I and hear us talk about life and laugh a lot, then I will see you tomorrow in late morning due to my vet appointment. And if you don't care about that at all, then maybe I'll see you later in the afternoon, like maybe 2 to 4 area. So like a half an hour from now, tomorrow, for art. And that's it for me. So now I'm going to go grab some lunch. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you like both of the paintings. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you Friday. Take care. Bye-bye.